Paul's Church of England Primary School and New Longton All Saints Primary School took part in a wonderful festival of singing. And to see 9 or 10 schools all packed onto a stage at King George's Hall is quite something. To mark Commonwealth Day, we were joined by the Deputy Lord Lieutenant of Lancashire, Lieutenant of Lancashire, I've been corrected on that, in raising the Commonwealth flag in the Peace Garden at the Civic Centre. I had a lively meeting with the South Ribble Youth Council, and it was great to find out more about them and hear at first hand what issues were important to them, whilst answering questions about the mayoralty and being involved in politics. We were honoured to attend the funeral of former Mayor and Councillor Dorothy Gardner at the crest of her family at St Leonard's in Penwortham. As Mayor and Ward Councillor, it was wonderful to be joined by local school children from Whitefield at the official opening of the Birch Avenue play area. I'd like to thank our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Chris Lomax, for deputising for me at the second birthday of Reed Easy Preston and also at the celebration of Scouting at Samlesbury Hall, both of which clashed with other engagements already in the diary. And as we approach the end of my mayoral year, I would like to invite and encourage you all to attend the Members and Officers Ping Pong fundraiser tomorrow between 12 noon and 2 p.m. here at the Civic Centre with a suggested donation of £5 for my charities. So I'm open to any challenge. And that takes us to item 5 on the agenda, which is the Cabinet report. This item is for noting, so if I could ask the Leader of the Council to present his report.
Thanks, Mayor, and I will be brief. The meeting of the Cabinet was held on Wednesday, the 15th of March, and is presented to Council this evening. On there, we looked at the Q3 Performance Monitoring Report. We approved the HAF programme for 2023-24. We approved the Community Hub Action Plans for 2023-24, Mayor. We then awarded the Worden Park Infrastructure and Landscaping contract for the next phase of works. And with that, Mayor, brought an end to the Cabinet meetings for this executive. And I'm pleased to present this report for any questions members may have. Thank you.
Is that seconded? Thank you. Does anybody wish to speak to this report? No, in which case that takes us on to item 6, which is the Governance Committee. Could I ask the Chair of Governance, Councillor Ian Watkinson, to present his report?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'm just going to make reference to the report that's in the pack, covers a number of different issues from the meeting on the 7th of March, and make reference to the fact that the Constitution Task Group has had its first meeting and will be meeting again towards the end of April. Thanks very much.
Is that seconded? Thank you. Any members wish to speak to that item? No, in which case that takes us on to item 7, which is the Scrutiny Committee report. Could I ask the Chair of Scrutiny, Councillor Angela Turner, to present her report?
So the report of the Scrutiny Committee for the meeting held on the 20th of March can be found on the supplementary agenda pages 25 to 26. And the Scrutiny Budget and Performance Panel held on the 13th of March 2023 can be found on page 19 of this evening's agenda. I'd like to thank the officers for their support and the members of the committee for their contributions. I'd like to recommend to the Council to note both these reports. Finally, I'd like to add we created a task group who produced the Building Better Homes and Neighbourhoods report, which was presented to the last Scrutiny Committee on the 20th of this month by the Chair of this task group, Councillor Michael Green. I'd like to thank Councillors Green, Jackson, Unsworth and Walton for the immense amount of work they put into this project and the nature in which they worked in collaboration to produce this really useful report. Thank you.
Is that seconded?
Speaking, can I thank Councillor Turner for her kind words there, and also to thank Councillors Jackson, Unsworth and Walton, myself for their work, and our officers, Coral Asbury and Darren Cranshaw, for their support to that task group. And also, whilst I am speaking, can I thank Councillor Turner for being the chairman of the Scrutiny Committee for the last year? And I think we've got through a lot of work, and it's been productive throughout the 12 months. I look forward to the ongoing work of scrutiny moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I look forward to this air of conviviality continuing throughout the evening. Does any members wish to speak to the report? No, in which case that takes us to item 8, questions to the Leader of the Council. I'm not aware of any written questions that have been submitted, so do we have any questions from members? No, in which case that takes us to questions to Cabinet members, and I'll take them in order. Questions to the Cabinet Member Health and Wellbeing, Councillor Mick Titherington. Again, I'm not aware of any that have been submitted, and nobody appears to wish to ask any. So questions for the Cabinet Member, Community, Social Justice and Wealth Building, Councillor Aniela Bilinski-Gelder. Questions for the Cabinet Member, Finance, Property and Assets, Councillor Matthew Tomlinson. Questions for the Cabinet Member, Planning, Business Support and Regeneration, Councillor James Flannery. At this point, a question has been received from a member of the public. The response to this question has been included on the agenda, and the member of the public has accepted the reply that's been given, and I believe they're not here this evening. So do we have any members of council who wish to ask any questions to Councillor Flannery? No. So moving on, we now have the presentation of long service awards, which requires me to scootle round the table, so I'll turn my microphone on. My little helper is on his way, I believe, is that?
I offered, Darren. You're more glamorous.
I've got used to passing.
Yes.
So the first award we have this evening is 32 years service, and this is an engraved civic shield, and that's for Councillor Barry Yates. No, I have to go in front there.
Yes.
We now move to awards for 20 years service, and I'll read these all together. So Councillor Colin Coulton, unfortunately, can't be here. Councillor Derek Forrest, Councillor Michael Green, and Councillor Peter Molyneux.
There's no position feels to
I'd like to applaud, by the way. I think after 20 years, they do deserve it. We now come to the 12 years service civic badge, which is Councillor Jane Bell, Councillor Renee Blow, Councillor Susan Jones, Councillor Keith Martin, Councillor Jackie Mort. If you'd like to come forward. Can we go over there?
The old brick looks very fancy. I put it in it's wrong.
There you go. Pin that on your hat. You follow them, is it? Steve Jones. Don't need a big cabinet for that. Thank you. How could I forget Councillor Martin? Did you see that? Thank you. And we also have a number of members who are retiring, before the elections, presumably. If I can read those out, because there's a lot of them. Councillor Renee Blow, who has served from 2007 to 2011 and May 2015 to 2023. At the time, shall we? So, Renee. Councillor Derek Forrest, who served from 1999 to 2007 and then from 2011 to 2023. Now then, Councillor John Hesketh, incredibly, has served from 1981 to 2023. Would you like to? Would you like to come forward? Because if ever there's been an achievement, that is it.
like a maybe reality. Perfect.
Album.
Yeah.
We also have an award for Councillor Mick Higgins, who has been on the council between 2003, 2007 and 2011 to 2023, but unfortunately is unable to attend. So I'm sure we can pass that on. Next is Councillor Cliff Hughes, MBE, who served from 1983 to 1995 and then 1999 to 2023. And Councillor Sue Jones, who served from 2011 to 2023. That's the nice one. I'm mostly correct.
Second. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next is Councillor Jim Marsh, who served from 2004 to 2023. There we go.
Oh, no shit, you're not late, I'm doing.
If you can turn around that way, look at the camera.
Hey, we're going to that.
Yes, no, right. Councillor Jackie Mort, who served from 2011 to 2023. Councillor Alan Ogilvie, who served from 2007 to 2011 and again from 2013 to 2023. Councillor Stephen Thirlbourne, who served from 2019 to 2023, who isn't here, but I'm sure we can get that to him. Councillor Mick Tidderington, who has served from 2005 to 2023.
Trying to keep our mate.
Moving to the left.
Oh, yeah. Seems a bit unfair, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the first time I've moved to
Councillor Matt Trafford, who served from 2019 to 2023. Who's asking me how to pose then, as if I'm a poser? I don't know. Councillor Carol Wooldridge, who served from 1995 to 1999 and then 2019 to 2023. And last but not least, Councillor Barry Yates, 1991 to 2023. I'm looking for the next item on the agenda, and it is to thank you to everyone for attending this evening's meeting. And I would now like to invite members and their invited guests to stay behind after the meeting for something to eat and drink, which I think is... Oh, sorry. Right, sorry, I am supposed to invite the group leaders to speak. So could I call on Councillor Angela Turner first?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a lot of people leaving, and there's some real characters in there. And actually, I have to mention specifically Rini. So Rini's been with us for 6 years. She came over to us from somewhere else, and we were very grateful. We know Rini's a character. And I'd like to specifically mention the fact that, which reminds us all of certainly one element of why we're councillors, which is about caring and doing things in the community for our residents. And Rini is definitely been that sort of person. I know that she's run an isolation cafe for 20 years in Penwitham, with support from various people, including most recently Councillor Jackie Morts. And what that isolation cafe has done, so it's prior to all the initiatives that we have now at council, is to make a lot of people who would have otherwise been lonely and not have anybody fuss over them for at least one day, to make them a meal and play a bit of bingo. So she's basically changed people's lives to give them a better quality of life, which I think we're sort of all here to do in whatever way we can. So I'd like to specifically thank Rini for that kindness, because you are a very kind person in your heart. The only other thing I'd like to mention, I'm sorry about everyone else, because there's some really great people going, and I know quite a lot of you. I'm sad to see Caroline Moon go, actually. Possibly one of the most professional and efficient campaigners that I've ever come across, who took a strong Labour hold seat as a Tory councillor, which was unprecedented. And I spoke to you about that earlier on, which was quite a feat. And obviously, Councillor Alan Ogilvie, and I've known Alan for a long time, and I massively respect his opinion about business stuff and his project management skills that he's brought forward to this council. And unfortunately, I'm sorry about the other people because it's not fair to keep everyone waiting if we go through everyone. But I know you're all going to be missed, and I just wanted to mention as well who's not on the list of leavers, and that's Councillor Jackie Mort. So I work with Councillor Jackie Mort on a collaborative project in the area, and again, it's I'm amazed at how caring and kind-hearted Jackie Mort is, and I'm delighted to work with you. Thanks.
Councillor Hesketh, you indicated you wish to speak. And
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I was going to start by naming all the councillors that have been on the council during my life, one by one, because the meeting's been very short this evening, so I thought I would extend it a little bit. But no, I'll give you a little bit of my life story whilst I've been at the council. It's not that long, really. But it only seems like yesterday that I joined the council and stood as a councillor. And I was welcomed in those days by Councillor Les Hocking and Ken Palmer. And it was due to the death of Jim Simpson that I actually was given the opportunity to sit as a councillor. I was first of all approached by Councillor Robinson, who was a well-known councillor at that particular time, and she asked me to put my name forward. And my reply at that time was, I've got a very busy life, I haven't the time to do it. But her being a very strong-willed lady, she pressurised me into putting my name forward. But I said I wouldn't do it unless she got all the forms and all I needed to do was sign it. And so 42 years later, you can see that I did actually sign it. But after 42 years, it appears that I've ended up, or I think I have, the oldest and the longest serving member on the council. The great train robbers didn't get that long. And they got time off as well. But I've had many good memories of the council whilst I've been here. Some of them, of course, I was the mayor 2003-04. I did have the opportunity to go to the Royal Garden Party. And I went on a trip to the German visitors with Matthew. So I've had quite a number of occasions that I've really enjoyed it. Plus the fact that I have many friends, including members of the opposite side. I have many members of friends, officers and staff. I appreciate what they've done for us over the years. I will miss that friendship, not coming to the council. But, you know, time goes on, doesn't it? So, most of all, looking down today, what I was going to say is there are a lot of councillors now looking down on us that aren't with us anymore. They're all good councillors, and I think we should appreciate what they've done for us. To me, it's been a very pleasant journey, a great experience. It's something that I've done for the people of South Ribble, not for personal gain. And I thank you all very much for your support over the years. Thank you very much.
Could I call on Councillor Karen Walton?
Mr. Mayor, do I need to stand up? Thank you. So as we approach the end of another 4 years of this council, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank every member and officer of this council for all their hard work and dedication on behalf of all the residents of South Ribble to make this borough a safe place to live and to work. The last 4 years have been a challenge for all of us, having to deal with the unprecedented COVID pandemic and now the effects of the war in Ukraine, which has led to a cost of living crisis that has affected everyone. The council has had to adapt and work smarter in providing essential services, and all of us having to adapt in the use of technology to continue the work of the council by using Microsoft Teams and all the other things that we've had to learn to use. But I would like to extend a big thank you to all members who will be retiring after the elections in May, and to thank them for their dedicated service throughout the years. I have to say goodbye to Councillor Barry Yates, who tonight has received the 32 years bar of service, but he will be retiring from this council. Thank you, Barry, for all your hard work and dedication. Council meetings will never be the same without you. And tonight we have to say a very sad goodbye to two more long-serving councillors who will be retiring in May. Councillor Cliff Hughes, MBE, for 36 years of dedicated services, and to Councillor John Hesketh for 42 years of dedicated services. Thank you all for your hard work and wisdom you have brought to this council for over a generation. You'll be greatly missed, and thank you, Mick, as well, for all you've brought to this council. It is much appreciated. Lastly, I would like to thank Councillor Margaret Smith, although she's hopefully not retiring at this moment, for 40 years of unbroken service to this council. And let's hope when you return in May, you will be able to achieve the longest serving councillor on record for South Ribble Borough Council. Thank you all, colleagues and friends, for all your support and hard work and dedication. On behalf of all the residents of South Ribble Borough Council, it is a pleasure to represent all the residents of South Ribble, and long may it continue. Thank you.
Are there any other members who wish to speak before I bring in the leader? Councillor Titherington.
Yeah. Well, I've prepared a speech. It's going to be brief. It's only going to be 30 minutes. So, I mean, because I have that bit of a reputation. But first of all, I mean, may I say, well, congratulations and thanks for that mention from the other side, because it's an occasion today, isn't it, really, for us to sort of remember the contribution that everybody has made and those that are going. And certainly, I mean, I'm going before I could make it to John Hesketh's achievements, which is not just the length of time that he served, but he also became Will Adams' favourite councillor. Well, that was something that I aspired to do. But for me, it's been an honour and a privilege to represent with my comrade and friend Matthew Tomlinson, Councillor Matthew Tomlinson, Broadfield, which was formerly Golden Hill, for the last 18 years. And I think, like John just remembered, is that during that time I've seen some, truly amazing people, both on the council but also in the community, working hard. Decent, honest, talented individuals who have sort of dedicated their lives to making their communities, better, a better place in which to live. And sadly, some of them are no longer with us, and I think it's an occasion tonight that we remember them and remember their contribution. Because it's been a humbling experience, really, to working alongside them. It'll be for others to measure and assess my contribution during those years, but during my years on the council. But whatever that verdict or political view, I hope that they will acknowledge that I've stayed true to my beliefs and that what you see is what you get. And in that regard, I have to thank Councillor Michael Green and Councillor Phil Smith for what I thought was a compliment that they paid me the other day when they said that they might not agree with me, but they knew what I stood for. I don't know if that was meant as a compliment, but I'm certainly taking it as one. So exactly, you've got to get them. You've got to take them when you get them. Yeah. But people will ask whether I will miss it, and of course I will. Whether I will miss the roller coaster of emotions during the count is a bit more debatable. I think it was Kipling who said, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. Well, I have to say, in the democratic process, it's a lot better to take triumph than it is disaster, and I've experienced both. But there has been much to enjoy, and I need to thank the council for bestowing on me the ultimate honour of becoming the mayor of the borough, and for that I shall be eternally grateful. And I am also grateful for members who supported me and Carol during our which was a fantastic mayoral year. So I do appreciate and thank the council for that. I want to pay tribute to the leader with whom I've worked for many years as his deputy. We've endured many challenges together, and through it all we have maintained a strong bond, a shared vision, and he has displayed, in my opinion, great quality and leadership skills. Likewise, I want to express my gratitude to my cabinet colleagues and my fellow group members for their support, comradeship and solidarity. And I want to express my admiration and appreciation to the officers and staff I have worked with for their professionalism, commitment and their efforts in delivering what I have asked them. I also need to mention my oldest political friend and running mate, Councillor Matthew Tomlinson, who I've worked with in Broadfield and many other issues. And over the years, we've enjoyed many good times, and I've appreciated his help throughout those years. And finally, I'd like to thank, in terms of the thanks to thank Carol and my family for their forbearance, their tolerance, and their support. But Mr. Mayor, I was recently reminded of a quote by Lily Tomlinson when she said, "I thought somebody should do something about that, and then I realised I am somebody." And I have often said, politics is not a spectator sport, and that's why I respect anybody who puts themselves forward for elected office, because they are those somebodies who are, and rather than saying somebody should do something, they are doing something. So I really do appreciate that. And also, I mean, it was an Aaron Bevan who said it's better to have a future than a past. And so I wish all of those who are moving on and all of those who will form the next council the very best and good fortune. South Ribble is a wonderful place, a wonderful borough, and it deserves the best. But for me as an elected member, it's good night and good luck. Thank you.
Right, nobody else indicated that they wish to speak, so could I call on Councillor Paul Foster?
Thanks, Mayor, and you'll be glad to know, Mayor and colleagues, that I haven't written a speech. I'm going to cuff it slightly. There's a reason for that. It's my glasses. I've realised I can see you all perfectly well now, but I can't read. So if I read, I can't see anybody. So I've decided I'm going to be able to see everybody and just and not read. So what a lovely way for us to end this 4 years. laughing, joking, thanking one another and rewarding one another for public service, because now this is what this is. It's public service, doing the best for our communities, doing the best for each other, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see my sparring partner there, Councillor Barry Yates, getting his 32-year service. And you may think this is I am actually genuinely going to miss Barry, because I've known Barry since before I actually started on the council, because Tommy Hanson introduced me to him. Said, "You watch that Barry Yates?" I said, "Well, it seems quite all right to me." But and I do, and I wish you all well and your family well, Barry and your wife, because I know you've had a tough period lately, and you will be missed at the council because you're a strong character. But Councillor John Hesketh, goodness me, 42 years service. I was still in junior school then, John, believe it or not. And I know I look even younger than that, but I was on my bike this morning thinking it's akin to when Sir Alex left United, John leaving the council, because I've always associated the likes of John and Cliff Hughes have always been here when I've been here as a councillor. And I'll say to both Cliff and John, you're a credit. You've both offered me at different periods of time advice when I was in opposition and when I've been leading the council, which is a lonely place at times. And you've always done it with a smile, and you've always done it with no malice. And I've always trusted you and appreciated everything that you've done. And you're an absolute credit to yourselves. You're a credit to your families, and you're an absolute credit to your community. And I thank you for all your efforts. So between Barry, John and Cliff, I've just hit 110 years service between the three of them. It's phenomenal, isn't it? 110 years. And then you had Margaret, and you're 150 years. I wasn't going to say that. So I'm hoping to speak to all members that have decided to stand down afterwards when we have a drink and a bite to eat. But if you don't mind, Mayor, I'll just quickly mention the couple of members that are leaving the Labour group this evening now. So Councillor Derek Forrest, our Armed Forces champion, and a true gent, and he's another man that I don't think any of us in this chamber have ever had a crossword with, hardly, And again, Derek's always been available for advice, whether you want it or not. You're always available for some advice, Derek. And I'm still scarred by his comments about Flensburg at that council meeting. Just we said when he told us, if you remember, what Flensburg was famous for producing. I'm not going to repeat it, but I'll tell you later if you don't remember. So, Derek, thank you for your service, Derek. Mick Higgins isn't here tonight. Just so you know, Mick, again, an ex-idle toad, now Labour councillor. Mick's not too well, but I've been to see him a few times. He's battling on. He's a strong old character, and he'll really appreciate the certificate that he's got tonight, and the best wishes from council, which I will pass on to him. And he lives in my ward as well, and I do see him quite often. Councillor Sue Jones. Sue's had a tough few years, as we know, following Ken's death. And if you remember, Sue was on the cabinet with us as well. And never will you meet a more polite, thorough, diligent lady than Sue Jones, who was always so nervous as well. And she was really quite nervous what she did, but everything she did was always wonderfully executed. And obviously, we know the tough times that you had following Ken's death. And a little funny story there. So Sue and Ken, when they first decided, it was actually Ken that was supposed to actually get elected onto the council, not Sue. And there's somebody not sat so far away from me, Mr. Tomlinson, who just at the last minute, when they were in Australia, swapped the seats around for tactical reasons. And then someone had to tell Ken that he hadn't been elected, and Sue had. And so I don't think that went down too well in the household to start with, but it was quickly dealt with, and Ken came on as well. So Sue's now moving on to pastures new, Sue, and we all will desperately miss you, but thank you for your efforts and all your efforts, Sue. I'm going to leave my colleague Mick till last. We'll then move on to Councillor Matthew Traft, I think one of the youngest councillors at 19 ever to be elected onto the authority. A passionate guy, a real passion for politics, but also a real passion to do the right thing. Matthew has ended up in a really good job with, you don't have to say Matthew, do you, with the Labour Party more nationally. And given that there's a conflict there if you're standing as an elected member when you're working and representing the party nationally. So Matthew's going on working for the Labour Party, and I'm absolutely certain in years to come we'll see you in Parliament, Trafford, and you wish us all our luck. But I remember at the count, God bless Matthew, who was stood there, and I think it was like 18, 19 votes down he was on the first round, and he's like, I can't believe I've lost by 18, 19 votes. And then that magic bundle suddenly turned up, didn't it, that had been put in the wrong pile. All of a sudden, he go from being in the depths of despair to being absolutely wonderful in as elected councillor, and we'll all miss Matthew as well. Councillor Carol Wooldridge, again, Carol's had a tough period, and let's be absolutely honest, Carol, I don't know if you're all aware of this, Carol only decided to stand in Sharnock at the last election in memory of Dave, because that's where Dave Wooldridge, her husband, was going to stand for us, and obviously David passed away, and Carol decided to stand in David's memory. And you know what a wonderful, wonderful memory and a wonderful thing that you've done, Carol. Carol's the chair of our group, and she, by goodness, does she chair our group? We all know who the boss is, but she's a wonderful lady, and Dave will be absolutely proud of Punchisha, Carol, so thank you. And then finally, but last but not least, Councillor Mick Titherington. When I was first elected, the deputy leader of the council, when I was first elected, I really looked up to Mick. And I still do. I do, honestly. Mick had been on the council, I think, for a couple of years when I was first elected, and those were the dark old days in 2007 when we took an absolute pasting. And there was only a small grouping of us, so we thought, let's just enjoy it. But I looked up to Mick. I was placed on the scrutiny committee as Mick's vice chair to learn my trade, and I still look up to Mick this day. And I don't believe I'd be stood here as leader of the council if it hadn't been for Mick's influence, friendship and advice. And one of the things I absolutely adore about Mick is there's many things that we don't agree on, but the moment we walk out that door, it's forgotten about. And there's times where I know Mick hasn't necessarily agreed with the policy that we've moving forward with. But the moment we walk out the door, takes on the group's position, one in all in. And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful characteristic to have. And we desperately, desperately will miss him within the group. You always know when Mick's in the room. I think we all know that. It doesn't matter whether it's a council meeting, a scrutiny meeting, whatever. We always know when Mick's in the room. So I made a rather foolish decision a few years ago. I got 2 tickets to United Everton, and it was quite a few years ago, actually, and it was in the hospitality. I said, come on, Mick, let's go and watch it. United was something like 4-2 up. Mick's like, he's not really that bothered, He then went to 4-3 and he started getting twitched. He can't keep quiet, right? I'll now let him. We were in the Man United bit, and he's an Everton fan, right? It then got to 4-4. My military training kicked in, so they then had to do a 007 extraction of Mick, literally, out the hospitality seats in Old Trafford into the bar to get him. But we had a good time, but it was Everton scoring the 4th equalising goal in Old Trafford in the United bit, with Mick Titherington. Not one of my better decisions in life, but nonetheless, we enjoyed it anyway. It's and you know what, Mick, you look at what you've achieved over the past 4 years as the deputy leader of this council, pretty much an unsung role. Mick's done so much behind the scenes. He's worked so hard through what have been 2 quite challenging periods for me personally. There was the former chief executive and the suspension there. Mick was absolutely robust with his support, as he always is. And then through the pandemic, at some stages was a really, really lonely place trying to lead this council, being asked to make decisions that you really didn't feel comfortable making. But Mick stood there day in, day out, and that's what you call a friend. That's what you call a leader. And so I wish him and Carol all the best, and I wish all the councillors that are retiring today all the best. And let's go away now, enjoy ourselves and have a glass of wine. Thank you, mate.
So that almost concludes the meeting, and it's probably appropriate that we're now going to have a party, because I've looked at the list of retiring members and I think about 6 of them enjoy parties. They've been in at least 2, and in Barry Yates's case, he's been in 3. So thank you. I've read all this before, but I'll read it again. Thank you to everyone for attending this evening's meeting. I'd like to invite members and their invited guests to stay behind and join us for something to eat and drink, which I believe is in the room next door. So thank you. It's in the paddocks.